Yo, welcome back to an episode of Vass Reacts. We got a video from ASCII. ASCII. Because it's caught my attention, and the thumbnail was Ben 10. And it said the $1 billion franchise that was left to rot. And as you can see from the hashtags, it's definitely Ben 10. It's not Marvel. And I agree. I made a post on my TikTok into the Mediaverse, link in the description. Well, I wrote the 2K. I want to thank each and every one of y'all, but yeah, this franchise went through hell. This franchise has so many series, and it's not even funny. The reboot was the last of the franchise, and now this franchise that could have been a multi-trillion-dollar franchise has been left to rot. But we're gonna let ASCII talk about this, and let's dive right on in, man. Because I want to hear this. I'm interested. As a heavy Ben 10 fan, I wants to hear this.
Creating a brand new superhero franchise which grosses over billions.
Wait, hold on. We gonna run it back because
Imagine creating a brand new superhero franchise which grosses over billions of dollars only to leave it to rot. That's exactly what Cartoon Network did with Ben 10. This scene is 2002. The executives at Cartoon Network are on the hunt for the next big action cartoon, and they bring in the help of Man of Action, telling them
they wanted Fantastic Four for young boys.
Man of Action is a group of comic book artists made up of Joe Casey, Joe Kelly, Duncan Rouleau, and Steven Seagal, who worked on big titles such as X-Men and Superman. When called in by Cartoon Network, they pitched 20 different ideas in 20 minutes, telling them you'll know what you're looking for when you hear it. With the deal signed, work began on creating what was then originally known as Force 10. Force 10 still started out with Ben Tennyson, although he looked a little bit...
Force 10 would have been a horrible name. It would have been a nasty name. The fuck is Force 10? I don't want to watch that shit.
Different. So did the Omnitrix too, resembling more of an earthly watch. The aliens also looked a little different. Actually, because they weren't even aliens, they were just superheroes originally. Digger later became Wildmutt. Dragonfly, obviously Stinkfly.
Okay.
Ghost Freak was still called Ghost Freak, but looked a bit more freaky. Grey Matter was also still called Grey Matter, although he looks more like a demon. Inferno became Heat Blast, which looks very similar to a mix between The Thing and Human Torch, which is funny because
they wanted Fantastic Four for young boys.
Plant Guy became Wildvine, Razor Jaws, Rip Jaws, Strong Guy, Forearms. Upgrade still Upgrade, just a lot different. I can't imagine this Upgrade morphing on.
Yeah, that shit looked
finally
horrible.
Accelerate. Eventually, after realizing this concept was already too similar to a DC comic called Dial H for Hero, they eventually went with the familiar idea to use aliens in the Omnitrix as opposed to just mutants or superheroes. After 2 to 3 years of development, Ben 10 premiered on Cartoon Network on the 27th of December.
The nostalgia! The nostalgia! Oh my God. The nostalgia, boy, I'm telling you. I say a lot of cartoons is in my top 10. This is my #1 cartoon of all time. Nothing. I don't care what comes out, what I have saw, what I say. This is my #1 cartoon of all time. If we had to rank this in an anime ranking, Ben 10 is #1. Nothing beats Ben Tennyson at all.
December 2005 to incredible critical acclaim. It was a fresh, brand new idea about a 10-year-old who found a watch from outer space that could transform him into 10 different aliens, and it hit like a meteor. Cartoon Network had found lightning in a bottle, and they knew it. Within a year, the Ben 10 brand was selling out in toy stores. Alien figures, Omnitrixes, you name it.
I had everything. I had everything.
For 3 years, and with its incredible world building, lore, action, and so on, it was inevitable that a sequel was in order.
Alien Force.
It's 2008.
Alien Force.
Alien Force premieres with the now 50.
I'm ready to cry. I'm ready to cry. I'm gonna tell y'all a story. Alien Force came out in 2008. I was told I had to get honor roll, a principal award, a citizenship award, and perfect attendance just to watch it, to the premiere. It was an hour premiere at Alien Force. And when I mean I locked the fuck in, motherfucker, I locked in so graciously. I had A's report cards for that quarter. And I had control over the TV for 2 hours. Alien Force. Oh my God, so much nostalgia, bro.
15-year-old Ben Tennyson growing up alongside the fans of the classic and tackling more mature themes in the classic series. By this stage, Man of Action had stepped back slightly to work on Generator Rex, another Cartoon Network show, and instead Ben 10
That fucking bombed. That bombed. That was left to rot as well. Oh my god, bro. I'm gonna stop pausing. Because, yeah, Rex could have been a multi-dollar franchise as well. But they killed off Rex after the crossover. They killed Rex off like a motherfucker.
Alien Force was helmed by Glenn Murakami and the late Dwayne McDuffie. This time around, Ben had a recalibrated Omnitrix and 10 brand new aliens, which fit the more mature style of the sequel. It debuted receiving mixed to positive reviews with a clear divide amongst the community. Some people loved the more serious tone, while others missed the classic for its lightheartedness and jokes. Season 1 and 2 had a clearly defined overarching story, character progression and tone, and the end of Season 2 often marks a pivotal shift in the franchise for a lot of the community. See, at the end of the day, Cartoon Network is a business. They work for the money, and with Ben 10 Alien Force, it just wasn't selling enough toys for their liking. Ben 10 was always a massive merchandise franchise. The majority of the money for classic series came from the toy sales. And while the grown-up, more mature sequel was great for those growing up alongside the show, it just didn't appeal to the younger kids, the main demographic who actually buy the toys. So Cartoon Network put the foot down and started taking a more hands-on approach with the writing of the show to try to encourage more toy sales. Season 2 ends on a big battle which has been building since the first episode, and now Season 3 rolls around. Immediately the tone shift can be detected even from just these two clips.
Listen, guys. I'm sorry I took Morningstar's side over yours. And more important, that I wasn't watching your back.
It wasn't your fault. I guess Morningstar had some kind of control over me.
It was my fault. I was in such a hurry to build our team, I ignored the danger. If I'm going to be a good leader, I'm going to need to show better judgment.
I'm not kidding, Ben. I'm really mad at you.
But you won't stay mad at me. I'm adorable.
You're completely full of yourself.
Which is forgivable because I'm so adorable.
You were late for a mission. Kevin and I could have been killed.
You've been obnoxious ever since you
Saved the whole entire universe?
See? You're doing it again.
Ben was
I mean,
making
it's a flex. It's a flex. I would too. It's an honest to God flex. I save the universe. I have the right to be obnoxious. But anyway, yeah, the tone was completely shift in Alien Force. I mean, Alien Force still had its comedic side, but it still had its serious tone. Now we got the Ultimate Alien. Ultimate Alien was on that serious shit. Ultimate Alien started talking about some shit. Some deep shit. But we just gonna get with the video, bro. I don't want to make it
aliens
too
were
long.
pumped out to have more toys to sell. The building storyline
Rev!
now seemed to be all over the place, and this threw a lot of people. Unfortunately, though, it worked in Cartoon Network's favour, and toy sales did increase after Season 3 premiered, although this was short-lived. The network knew they needed to do more to keep toy sales high, and that brings us to
Ultimate Alien.
premiering in April
Ultimate
2010 and the 10th of October 2010 for the rest of the world.
Oh my
The third iteration of Ben 10, the sequel to Alien Force, where Ben looks exactly the same, has basically the same aliens and the same... Why did they do this? Oh yeah, new gimmick. Ben now has the Ultimatrix, a knockoff of the Omnitrix, which has the ability to turn his alien transformations into their ultimate form. It's actually a pretty cool concept. Basically, what would happen if we took this alien, locked them in a battleground for a million years, and then see what war-torn, traumatized, shell-shocked nightmare they emerge as. Weirdly enough, though, from the 46 aliens Ben has unlocked by this point, only 8 transformations ever actually received an ultimate.
Yeah, and I never understood this. Like, bro, you had so many aliens. I wanted to see every alien ultimate form. I wanted to see a full arms ultimate form. I wanted to see a brainstorm ultimate form. I wanted to see a upgrade ultimate form. I wanted to see Armadillo's ultimate form, Terra Spins. Well, like, bro, it had so much potential. But hearing him say that this show was only made for toys and merchandise, which I understand, but this is a franchise that could have been expanded into a bigger universe if done correctly. Could have been greater than the Marvel universe. I wanted not just wiki backstories. I wanted shows or spin-offs about where the background of each alien. This show had greater potential than what it was.
Form, which seems strange considering their main goal was toy sales. You know, you think more Ultimates would mean more toys to sell, but, you know, who am I to critique the decisions of Cartoon Network on their biggest franchise? Ultimate Alien was also a mixed bag for its reception. The new Ultimate gimmick, along with Ben's identity being leaked, led to a lot of new avenues for storytelling. Ultimate Alien culminated in this huge battle which spanned many episodes for
You stabbed me.
Then Ben gets a new Omnitrix and the
Then Omniverse happened.
Ben 10
They
Omniverse
changed the
premieres
art
on
style.
1st of August 2012, once again with a brand new art style and a handful of new heroes.
Blocks.
Omniverse took a weird angle in that they continued on from 16-year-old Ben in Ultimate Alien, but also sometimes did episodes with 11-year-old Ben, supposedly after the summer of the classic series, even though this contradicts Alien Force, where Ben says,
And we barely used to beat him in the old days.
We were like 10 years old.
but hey, retcons are a big part of this franchise, and I'm not about to get into that.
Even First Thinker Asma's voice and appearance has changed on at least 3 occasions.
Although, let me know down below if you'd like to see a separate video on that.
I mean, at least they're aware. At least they're aware.
Omniverse lasted for 8.
I mean, Omniverse wasn't bad. Omniverse wasn't bad. I love the different aliens in Omniverse. Like, my favorite used to be Feedback. Out of everybody, Feedback was my dog.
Series, and it actually had the most episodes out of all the shows so
Yeah.
far, but ultimately was cancelled due to low ratings. There's a lot of speculation as to why exactly Omniverse was cancelled, as the season 8 finale teased a space road trip, which unfortunately never came to light. Another cancelled idea was the return of the Negative 10, a sort of rogues gallery for Ben, which debuted in a 2-part finale of the classic series. A Reddit user by the name of Crystal Productions suggests that because of low toy sales, the show was axed and aired off in the early mornings to keep ratings down so that it could be a tax write-off.
That's
DC
fucked up.
Network also chalks the low ratings up to the awkward episode errands and suggests Cartoon Network's direction was to move away from action shows.
The reason why it did poorly, quote-unquote, ratings-wise, is because Cartoon Network mishandled the way they aired the episodes, and that was Christina Miller's Cartoon Network, and I truly believe this when I say this. I genuinely do think that the reason why Ben 10 Omniverse ended was because Christina Miller just wanted to get action off the channel.
That's
And that marks the
stupid.
end of Ben 10 Prime as we know it.
That's fucking stupid. That's so stupid. Cartoon Network was an action channel. Remember DC Nation when they tried to air a bunch of DC cartoons around the same block? What happened to Rex? Clone Wars. Like, Cartoon Network was the home of action at one point. Like, remember the block You Are Here? Like, what happened to CN Action? But we made this channel into a deep... I don't even want to say woke. I'm not even going to use that term. We made this channel into a deep, serious network. That the home of animation, the pinnacle of animation, then got catered into an animation expressing feelings ground. I could never respect that. I could never.
Until 2016, when Cartoon Network had to wake up their cash cow and milk it for the last few drops it had, giving us this
That
abomination.
shit.
I'm
That
not going to
shit.
get into the reboot too much because
Ew.
I personally haven't seen it, but also because it's another massive divide in the community. Some people hate it, some people tolerate it, but it's obviously meant to appeal to the much younger generation, the toy buying generation. It had a good
That
run, actually the longest of all the shows, with over 160 episodes, although these were cut down to 11-minute episodes instead of the usual 22. Despite receiving generally negative reviews from critics, in the US the series has been viewed by 41 million viewers across multiple platforms, so the reboot succeeded in what it was made for, to capture a new generation into the world of Ben 10 and to sell them toys. The Ben 10 reboot concluded its run in April 2021, meaning at the date of this recording it has been over 4 years since any new Ben 10 media has been released. For a franchise which has captured the hearts of millions and grossed over $7.85 billion, to just be left on the shelf is insane. But when you look at the state of Cartoon Network today, it becomes even more baffling. Constant reruns of regular show, Adventure Time,
Bam, perfect. Totally Spies. I'm not mad. Totally Spies came back. Totally Spies is doing that thing. I actually like the reboot. Amazing World of Gumball is on its way back, so we'll give that a pass. Apple and Onion, this should have been canned from the jump. Apple and Youngin is brain rot. Send that shit to Disney. Adventure Time, since Adventure Time regular show is coming back, that's understandable. But you airing 102 episodes a day of Gumball and Teen Titans Go ain't worth it.
The Amazing World of Gumball, the exact same shows I used to watch almost 15 years ago now. Cartoon Network really is a shell of its former self. I suppose when you look at the entertainment industry at large nowadays, that's not really anything out of the ordinary. Movies are just reboots or rewrites of previously loved classics. Video games are just enhanced editions or remasters. Companies are afraid to take risks creatively now and would much rather bank on the success of previous titles, which leads everything to just become a little stale.
Yep.
Friday the 26th of July 2024, out of the blue, an article was posted by comicbookclub.com announcing that Dynamite Entertainment has expanded its license with Warner Bros, signing up Ben 10 for a brand new comic book series. Since Dynamite Entertainment is responsible for series like The Boys and Vampirella, it opens the doors for a more mature Ben 10 story.
I haven't heard of
The
this.
artist puts it best.
A Ben 10 story free from the shackles of broadcasting standards can push these stories further and give us stories we may not be able to see on Cartoon Network. I'm not saying just go straight to the blood and gore, but when you write towards a more mature audience, you can have stronger and deeper characters and storylines.
But since that article almost a year ago, still no new information has been released. We still have no idea if this is a retelling, a continuation, or just something else entirely. Although if this comic book series sells well, who knows, it may open the door to a Ben 10 animated series like we've never seen before. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, maybe even subscribe, but most importantly, please make sure you leave a comment.
Okay, I think that's it. Okay, first of all, go sub to ASCII. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but yeah. $1 billion franchise just left on the shelf to rot like that. Like they said, just sell the rights. Sell the rights to somebody who's going to actually do wonders. I want to say Ben 10 could have been as popular as Invincible. Like the Ink Tank said, don't go straight to the blood and gore. Work your way to it. Like how WWE is going, like they're not jumping straight into the cussing, straight into the wild spots. They're working their way towards its story-wise line. This franchise was always a hit. It should never been a hit or miss. Now, some people got their personal opinions about Omniverse. I enjoy Omniverse for the meantime. When it came down to the reboot, I couldn't stand the reboot because, like they said, like ASCII said, it was mostly to sell toys and video games, which they got like 2 or 3 games out of it. And the toys are rarely on the shelves. When Ben 10 was around early 03, when it first came out, toys were like everywhere. Kmart, Walmart, Target. The toys were everywhere, from full-fledged army tricks to the, if I'm not mistaken, the alien makers, the Omnitrix that you can change your voice to sound like the alien, the costume. This franchise could have been one of the most popular franchises, but we will only see it as a Cartoon Network staple because they couldn't do more with that franchise. And it's kind of infuriating to think about it like that. But hopefully this franchise gets the respect it deserves. Shout out to ASCII. I don't know if I'm saying the name right, but anyway, this has been Vass Reacts. I'm going to link to the video down in the description below, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.